Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. Although this could be an Ask Dr. Mumbi, like literally, I've been going through the comments. I absolutely want to, first of all, let me give a shout out to everyone that comments on the channel, everyone that is subscribed. Special shout out to our Patreon family. I love and appreciate all of you. Thanks for all the good vibes and like confirmations that you give me in the comments, family, of how, the advice that Spirit is using me as a messenger to deliver to you is impacting your life in a positive way. It means so much. As Kali Amunra says, each one teach one. I think that's really the most important thing of our time. And I saw in the comment section, when I talked about the spell has been broken, it has been broken, family. We are in the new earth and we are no longer slaves to the world that has passed away. We are no longer victims of circumstances that were in that reality. And the only way to know that is to start to tell yourself a new story about yourself. And one of the things that I've noticed is like that past story with all its burdens and pains and frenemies and enemies and battles, I'm almost like not remembering it anymore. It's no longer something that is part of my narrative. You know how you keep everything that you've gone through like in your gut? And you can always, when mama did this, when my friend did that, when I was betrayed by this, and all of that is just there in your energy, in your space, in your narrative. I feel like it's falling away, family. And there's so many ways I've tried to heal it by talking about it, by hypnosis therapy, where you go back to those situations and try and, remember them in order to heal them, all this stuff. But what I'm realizing is like getting on with business, getting on with the new, that life is falling away, or the healing is happening naturally. The healing is coming with the restoration and the resurrection, because we really are in a resurrection process. But what I meant, family, when I said that the spell is broken, is that the enemy no longer has that unfair advantage over us. You see, we've never been playing on an equal playing field. And as the micro, so is the macro. So the way you see Babylon colonizing nations is the way some of our minds were colonized within our own families, within our own communities, within our own churches, but mainly within our own families. And they use that narcissistic kind of personality to do it. But there was so much spell work, mind control, gaslighting, please look these words up, MK Ultra, programming that was done on us within our most intimate situations, either growing up as children, in our schools, in our workplaces, in our relationships, our romantic relationships, etc., etc. There was so much that was out of balance. Many people did it unknowingly, but a whole lot many more did it knowingly and found it so easy to start manipulating our minds, manipulating the elements. And so we were never, first of all, because these people were hidden, we never knew the enemies of our souls. They never revealed themselves. And so they would be around us 24/7, getting our energy, getting our information, which enabled them to now plan their strategies, etc., etc. A lot of them, it was in family situations. So they were putting stuff in our food. Pharmakia is one of the biggest. That's pharmaceuticals, but anything, potions, all this stuff. People have been, many of you have been drugged for years, like not to trigger anyone. They were putting stuff in your food, putting potions in your food. I mean, anyway, let me not get into that. A lot of blood magic was done, family. But the reason they were able to get away with all their diabolical things is because they were doing it behind the scenes. They were doing it in private. And they had free access to our lives because these are a lot of people that we thought were friends, were loved ones, were family that we could trust. So we would literally share everything, you know what I mean? But now that spell is broken because they no longer have that advantage of being hidden. And that was one of their biggest advantage. But that advantage of being hidden is gone now, because it's like we've come back to ourselves. We've remembered. Everything is being put back together. And one thing about this new dispensation, family, is like you've been given the gift of sight and knowing. You see and know who your enemies are. You see, it's like the veil has been removed, the blindfold has been removed. You see what they've done, what they're doing, what they're planning to do. That changes up the game, because just by seeing and knowing, whether I do anything physically or not, my spiritual team and even me spiritually have already pounced into action, literally pounced into action, family. And also, you see, they were operating, I hate to use this word, but I'm just using it as code, in the dark ages with a lot of, destructive magic, family. Destructive magic is basically like that vampiristic spirit where I have to take from you and I'm not giving anything. It's not an exchange. I'm taking from you to prosper my life. Whether I'm taking your life, whether I'm taking your prosperity, whether I'm taking your stars. I think there's even a special day in, during this whole, in the Muslim ritual, where they call people stars to them, man. But stories for other days. So the atmosphere that we were operating with, where they could employ the demons and the warlocks, that energy is no longer there. We are literally in a new atmosphere. So they don't have that to pull on anymore. That's been erased. It's like collectively a dark spirit or a dark vibe was just removed. So they no longer have those aids from other dimensions to help them to do some dark stuff. Those gates and portals have been locked. We're in a new atmosphere where a lot of those spirits, those jinns, etc. Well, let me not say just jinns, but those, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a particular word. Anyway, those goblins, literally the goblins, the demons, like we're above their atmosphere right now. So they can't pull that energy. They can't pull those principalities to interfere with you, because now we're on an equal playing field, which means on this equal playing field, you have access to all your powers and your team. Before, they had access to everything and you had access to nothing, because you believed them so much that you didn't even think you needed access to anything. Or they'd made you believe there is no spiritual team, angels ain't real, dragons ain't real, fairies ain't real, whatever. They'd played with your psyche and limited it to such a level that you couldn't, you were operating as a lone soldier. You couldn't even, you didn't have access to the massive arsenal of spiritual energy, of physical ammunition that they had. And some of them were even using your powers against you, your own spirits against you, trying to do that. But basically, you were operating with no power. Wake up, Africa! Welcome back, family, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki, and just sending you all the love, all the best wishes. A special shout out to Miguel. Thank you so much for your very generous love donation. I really do pray, and I send you my best wishes that you will find exactly what you're looking for, and you will. Just be aware that it may not happen the way you are expecting it to happen. Stories for other days. So family, we are no longer asleep. And that heavy negative atmosphere that was literally oppressing us, that was literally just pressing down on our crown chakra, helping us not to be able to connect to the higher realms, is gone. What remains is the residue. And Babylon is milking this residue for everything it's worth. They're trying to make it seem so real. even the enemies of your soul still want you to believe they're the ones in control of your life. They're the ones who have power. They want you to almost fear them. But now it's an equal playing field. And let me tell you something, family. In an equal playing field, because you are a chosen one, because you are of the light, because you are of the creation of the creative, you have a creative nature and not a destructive nature. You win every time. It's not even a battle. And you don't even have to do anything to fight them. You just have to send that energy back. Put a permanent mirror up and write back to sender on it. Every vibe just goes back to them. And they can handle their own vibes. But that's the thing. So that spell is broken. Because that spell was a spell of sleep. The only way they were able to do the things they did is because they put us to sleep. Some have been drugged by their families for all their lives, family. Your own mothers, your own fathers were sprinkling a little some in your food, thinking you would forget or never remember or never see the diabolical things they did to you. But they didn't know you were a prophet. They didn't know you were a seer. They didn't know you get visions. They didn't know you have direct access to your spiritual team that hides absolutely nothing. And that's another thing that I should mention, is that our spiritual teams have changed, family. I mean, we're in a totally new world, totally new atmosphere, totally new earth. You see, before, and there's a book I've shared on my platform about, our spiritual teams, etc., etc. But before, it was all about these, like the spiritual teams that could exist on this level had to be of a certain vibration. And so many of our spiritual teams were comprised majorly of our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, all the ones who had kind of existed in this earthly realm, but we didn't have access to our beloved cosmic ancestors. But now we're in a new dispensation, family. And you see, okay, another thing I should mention is that some of these guardian angels were not only your guardian angels, but they were the guardian angels of your mother who hated you, your father who sexually took advantage of you. We were all under the same umbrella, under these, so we never really saw much justice. Because it's like, I know this sounds so crazy, but the ancestors that were guarding and guiding us were compromised. They always wanted us to get like a win-win situation. Whereas, let me tell you something, the enemies of our souls will never, they'll never stop, they'll never give up, family, because they've tasted that total domination and power. It's like a disease. It's like a cancer. It's like a heroin addiction, actually. That having that power over another. As someone who is powerless is something that and then knowing that they're more powerful than you and using all this spell work, and for so long it's worked. Well, it's not going to work anymore. It's done. It's really done, family. You have higher level ancestors now at your disposal, and they ain't playing. Maybe I'll do a whole separate show on that. Your spiritual team has been upgraded. So we're no longer, my grandmother who's protecting me and also the relatives who are against me no longer has that authority over my life. So any kind of compromise that she may have felt, like where she wanted to protect me, but she couldn't destroy her own, her own children. So she had to almost, in the spiritual realm, maintain this balance of like, oh, but she's learning, not totally taking out the enemy. That's done, man. That's over. Higher level ancestors and spiritual guides and guardian angels are now in our lives. Actually, let me even stop there. But that's a big game changer. a big game changer in everything that's going on. Because that spirit of persevere, just, they will change, you're the higher one, just overstand them, that's done. A lot of us now are being defended by people who are like, if you get in her way, you will be taken out. In a twinkle of an eye. No mercy, no let's go to judgment, no let's negotiate, no let's talk as ancestors, none of that. You play around, you get taken out. And so because you have this reinforcement family, a lot of the enemies of your soul are now actually trying to reverse the spells. They're trying to reverse the work they did. Because a lot of them, you're in a different atmosphere, so they can't even approach you. Because it's no longer like, regardless of what they did to block your third eye, to block your sight, to hide themselves in plain sight as the abusers of your life, but pretending they were the great loves of your life. Now they've been totally exposed. They're not hiding. They're naked in front of you. And there's another spiritual court that has come into play. I've been saying we've been in a judgment day situation for so long, and your judgment is your choices, both towards yourself and against others, or for others. And so now there's higher level beings moving with you. So they're even afraid. So that's why I'm saying you have the advantage. The only thing that is blocking you now is the residue of emotion. And is those habitual thoughts, against yourself, where you are now yourself, negative self-talk. That also can bring down your defenses. And the last thing that they have to their advantage is that some invested millions, but they invested decades into cementing bad thinking in you, cementing low self-esteem in you, abusing you and everything so that you could not move into your higher thinking man, which is what needs the only mind that can operate at such a time as this and gain victory. So they couldn't destroy you. So they put enough seeds in you, hoping that when they grow, there'll be weeds and they'll destroy the fruits of your life that are now literally blooming and blossoming. That's why I keep saying, family, the utmost focus should be on you, on your healing, on your rebalancing, on your rewiring, on your mental that's where they've put the booby traps. But in terms of your enemy trying to throw a spell on you or trying to do something, it won't even hit you. You may feel sleepy because they're pulling on your energy. You may feel emotional for no reason, but trust me, it's going back. But remember to pull your energy, to call your energy back daily and send their energy back daily. Remember to commune with nature daily, because that's like how we renew ourselves. Remember to show yourself love and to make your healing and restoration your number one priority. Because once that's sorted, or once you even start sorting that out, everything will start falling into place. You don't have to wait till you're healed to move into paradise, but at least start making steps towards your healing, so that the new earth can manifest as a true reality for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, tuko pamoja.